Welcome to another episode of Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Scott Hansen, and as always, it's on this show that we get the opportunity to really peek behind the curtain and get inside the minds of some of the most successful entrepreneurs, business execs, business owners, sports athletes, media professionals, and now for the first time, we're actually going to have a partner with us today, a partner in a law firm. His name is Puneet Cham, and he is doing some incredible things. I wanted to have him come on the show. Not only is he an incredible lawyer, but he also has this incredible entrepreneurial spirit and entrepreneurial mindset. So Puneet, welcome to the program. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you've basically been a lawyer your entire adult life.
That's right.
Have you always wanted to practice law? Were you always excited about getting into and being a lawyer?
Yeah. Much to the disappointment of my parents, who are doctors, but since a kid I either wanted to be a writer, which is often difficult, and be an attorney. I probably attribute that to LA law more than anything else. I'm dating myself.
Okay.
But for as long as I can remember.
Awesome, great. I know your firm, Latimer, LeVay, and Fyock, has been around for close to 14 years now. So you guys are doing something great. You guys are doing something significant in the marketplace. Can you tell everybody what services you guys provide?
We, as a law firm, we represent primarily business owners. We act as outside general counsel for them, so we handle most of their corporate work.
Okay.
And often represent not only the owners, but also C-suite executives, CEO, CIO, COO.
Sure.
So we're working with those types of individuals and ultimately their families in terms of both the corporate work, litigation, corporate immigration, as well as estate and tax planning.
Okay.
And business succession planning.
Which brings me to my next question. I'm glad you mentioned that. I know you have a real passion for estate planning and business. Is it called business succession planning?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more about what that is and why you have such a passion for it.
Well, I got into estate planning primarily because you're working with families and generations of families and trying to preserve their wealth and pass it on to the next generation while avoiding tax, which can be significant for many individuals that have a certain amount of wealth. The estate taxes can be upwards of 40%, and we're trying to avoid having them pay that tax.
Sure.
So it's not as litigious as some areas of the law, which is what I like.
Right.
Although when families fight, it can get pretty ugly. But for the most part, we're just trying to help them secure their wealth, pass it on to the next generation, and deal with issues like creditor protection.
Okay. Which is I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I wanted to ask you and have you share with our audience is, if there's one product, there's a business owner out there listening to this program saying, wow, I really need to have fill in the blank. What's the one product maybe that you can suggest that everybody, or specifically all business owners, it's a must-have?
Okay. Well, to me, and I often tell this to clients, it's like building a house. You want to start with a strong foundation.
Sure.
So for business owners, that's going to be, if it's a corporation, it'll be your shareholders agreement. If it's a limited liability company, it'll be an operating agreement. If it's a partnership, it's going to be a partnership agreement. Those documents really set forth how each of the owners, if there are multiple owners, deal with each other in the event that there's a liquidity event or a bankruptcy, or God forbid a partner passes away and you need to pass on the interest to the next owner. So those are really important documents.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Good.
Would you just do that one again?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me think about that for a second.
Okay. Let me.
You want to ask the question?
Yeah. So redo on that question.
Okay.
So what would you say would be one product, maybe in your portfolio, that you feel all business owners should really have in order to protect their assets?
Well, I think it's kind of like building a house. You want to start with a strong foundation first, and that to me is your corporate documents. For a corporation, that's your shareholders agreement. For a limited liability company, it's an operating agreement. For a partnership, it's a partnership agreement.
Right.
Those documents are going to outline some of the basic information that you need, and to avoid certain ambiguities that might lead to litigation. For example, if a partner is incapacitated or if a partner is deceased, what happens to those interests? All of a sudden you have an unintended partner like a spouse, or does it go on to the next generation, or does it go to the other partners? Those documents are going to help you figure those out.
So is there maybe a story that you can share about a time when maybe you were able to help a family or maybe a business owner save money or be able to make sure that the money that they've earned stayed within the family?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to, I've had quite a few business owners, but one that comes to mind that he invested a lot of his assets into his business.
Right.
And at death, it's likely he'd have a taxable estate, and he just didn't have the money to pay for it, so that he would have had to sell his business. So we helped put the documentation together to allow him to keep and retain his business and then pass it on to the next generation and still be able to pay that tax.
And if he didn't have this estate plan, if he maybe just had a will, because a lot of times, we're told all you need is a will.
Right.
But you're saying we need more than just a will.
Right. A will is important. I don't want to discount that.
Right.
But certainly it's not enough to get you where you need to be, especially if you have a taxable estate or if you have a corporation, you're trying to pass it on to the next generation, or if you're trying to liquidate and maximize your wealth. Then you're going to need a little bit more than a will to handle that.
Okay.
So absolutely, and it could save, it's not unusual to save millions of dollars by doing certain tax planning.
Wow, it's a lot of money for having the right things in place.
That's right.
Awesome. Shifting gears, talking about more on the marketing and client getting side from a business, because at the end of the day, all firms are still businesses, and you're trying to get, retain clients, but also get new clients from a business coach's perspective, which I am. I help business owners get clients and do marketing effectively. So from your standpoint, there's a lot of law firms out there.
That's correct.
What makes you guys sort of stand out from the rest of the pack, and how do you go about marketing your services?
Well, I joined the firm in 2012.
Okay.
And I came from a firm that had some very good attorneys. But what really attracted me to Latimer, LeVay, Fyock is the fact that they have this entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of, especially the managing partner, he really encourages all the other partners and associates to develop business.
Okay.
And I've always felt that if you just do the drafting, if you just do the work, you're only really doing half of what you need to be a kind of a successful attorney. You need to focus on the marketing side. And so that's what first attracted me to the firm.
Right.
And that's how I think we differentiate our firm from others. Is we're all very collaborative. We work together. For example, estate planning, which is what I focus on, and business succession planning, that bleeds into all other areas of law. So it's not unusual for me to meet with a client that not only does their estate and tax planning need to be taken care of, but they have litigation matters, or they have corporate matters, and they have other matters that I can then give to provide that service with my other partners. A lot of law firms, a lot of lawyers just focus on what they know best, and they're really missing great opportunities to provide full service to their clients. So we do that well, which means giving up some control. A lot of attorneys, when they develop a client, they want to keep it close to their breast. I get that.
Right.
But you're doing your client a disservice. So we try to meet. We have a marketing group that meets once a month. In that marketing group, for example, we discuss every person we've met for that month on a networking standpoint, and how the rest of the firm can help us grow that relationship. I don't think a lot of firms are doing that these days. And then finally, we're really pushing marketing ourselves through media, and focusing on how we can get the message out that way, because I think that's the next level of marketing that I think a lot of people are missing.
Yeah, I think it's important because, again, I think I like what you share, which is we still have to go out and market. we still have to get new clients and attract
right.
new clients. But I like your take, which is why continue to maybe always go outside of the firm? Why not sort of share the wealth?
Right.
And also empower other people within the firm to say, hey, we're in this thing together.
That's right.
We're in this thing together as a family, as a unit, as a company. And I would imagine that by doing that and having that culture, that mindset, it really empowers everybody else in the firm to really buy in to
right.
what it is you guys are doing as a team perspective.
And there's a lot of low-hanging fruit there. You know, going outside of the firm, you have to take the time to develop a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the firm, those relationships have already been developed. So why not speak to those clients and let them know what else we do? And by doing that, you've already taken the first 10 steps, which is often the hardest, is developing that relationship. That's already been taken care of.
Sure.
So why not take advantage of it and, you know, let the client know that there's other services you can provide.
So you hit on the subject, and I sort of want to wrap up with this. If there's one thing that people are viewing, they say, you know what? When I think of lawyers, I think of, you know, $3,000 suits, and there, a lot of lawyers in their ivory towers. And my God, just to pick up the phone and call a lawyer is going to cost me a ton of money.
That's right.
What's sort of the one takeaway that you can give our viewers to say, you know what? This is the one thing or the two things that you need no matter what happens. If you don't get, if you might not want to get all these other things that we provide, but what are the one or two things that you can share with our audience to say, hey, this is a must?
Right. Well, I think when we're talking about estate, when we're focusing on estate planning, going back to this kind of analogy about building a house,
Okay.
it's you got to start with a foundation. Even Oprah or Bill Gates, they started with a will and powers of attorney for healthcare and powers of attorney for property, and 99% of people start with revocable trusts. That's the and I don't care if you're you or me or Bill Gates. We all start with that same kind of premise, and that's where I would say to start. Is to, you know, discuss those documents, because then that will ultimately grow into more if you need it. If you don't, many clients just leave with that, and that's great because that already you're ahead of the game. 60% of people don't even have a will. You know, if you look at James Gandolfini, for example, he died. I think he had $80 million. You know, it's a very large estate. He only had a will. Gave $30 million to the federal government.
$30 million.
We could help avoid those types of taxes.
Right.
So the idea is to get in front of an attorney. Usually the initial consult's free. And the way I work is, even if you walk away without deciding to retain us, you walk away armed with a significant amount of knowledge. So when you do decide to move forward, you're already, you know, ahead of the game.
Great. Well, this has been great. Great stuff. I want to give a plug for you and your company. If someone wants this free consultation, or if they need to get in touch with you, how do they go about doing that?
Well, there's a variety of ways. You can obviously call us. We're downtown at 55 West Monroe, on the 11th floor. Our phone number is 312-422-8000. If you call that number, just ask for me. I try to get back to people as quickly as I can.
And do you have maybe either a website or an email that you can share?
Yeah, it's the website's www.llf, that's Latimer, LeVay, Fyock, llflegal.com.
Okay.
And my email address is pcham, P-C-H-A-M, @llflegal.com.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Puneet, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Thanks
I
for having
appreciate
me.
your time. This has been incredible. So, again, if you want to be a guest on my show, make sure to email me at scott@scotthproductions.com. Also, if you're in the business of wanting to be coached by me, you're a business owner, an entrepreneur that's looking to be coached, make sure to also email me at that same address, scott@scotthproductions.com. And as always, go out and make it a great day, because you absolutely deserve it. Take care.